Hey there, welcome to another pattern review video. I'm so glad that you clicked on this video. You must be in the market for a reptile pattern. So I'm so glad that you have decided to join me. I have crocodile patterns, alligator patterns, turtles, geckos, lizards, and snakes, and they were absolutely a blast to make. And I'm so glad that you're gonna hang out with me today. Grab a crochet hook, grab something fun to work on or whatever you would like to do, and let's go ahead and get started. But before I do that, my name is Tasha, and I love to create content for all the makers out there. I like to do market review vlogs. I like to do pattern review, yarn reviews, and just like whatever I crocheted for the week. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me, and let's get started. Don't forget that all of these patterns are in a Google Doc down below. Just click on that and you can find where all of these patterns are located, as well as some of the yarn that I mentioned. Our first reptile pattern is going to be a free pattern on Instagram, and I'm going to be using this really pretty mystical yarn. And this is a free pattern by Natalie's Crochet Creations. It's for what looks like a smaller market make type alligator. It says to use chunky yarn, stuffing, crochet hook, safety eyes, embroidery needle, and it's very important to use a stitch marker. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this pattern, and I will check in with you guys as soon as I'm done. Okay, I am all done with this sweet little guy. I started this at 4:40 and I just spent 5:25. So it took me about 45 minutes to make him. And overall, I think he's super cute. Pretty easy pattern overall. I did have some issues with the placement of the legs when I was getting around to the part where you chain out the legs. I was like up here at the top where you do the increases. So then I had to like just crochet all the way around for some reason and do the legs at the bottom. He has this little hump, which I think is a really good design. It makes him look like an actual alligator, and he has a nice long tail. I think this mystical yarn is absolutely perfect for an alligator. If I make it again, there's a couple things that I want to do differently. One of the first things that I'm thinking of doing is surface crocheting the legs, because it took me a while to make sure that I was in the right spot for the legs, and I would rather just surface crochet them where I think they should go. The other issue that I had with the pattern, and I'm pulling it up here, is in the first round, and I'll put a little picture up on the screen, it says to start in the second chain, and then it says 3 single crochets, single crochet, single crochet, 2 single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. So I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be like all the way around the chain, or if like the first 3 single crochets go in the first stitch, and then second stitch is single crochet, third stitch single crochet, 2 single crochets, fourth stitch. It's not 100% clear to me. Or do you do like the 3 single crochets or 3 separate single crochets? If that's the case, then they should not be written out that way, like 3 single crochets, and then I feel like I said the word single crochet so many times. The other problem I had with the pattern is in row 33 and 28 and 33. It says DC and then SC and DC. I'm pretty sure those are decreases instead of double crochets. And in the rest of the pattern, a decrease is shown as DEC. So typically DC means double crochet, and I'm pretty positive that I'm not supposed to do a double crochet near the end of the tail. So that could be confusing for some people. They may not realize that those are actually decreases instead of double crochets. When I looked at the very beginning where it has like all the abbreviations, there is no DC, so I had to assume those were decreases. But I'm gonna make him again. I wanna time him out again because I think I can do a better job in making him faster. And I think I'll just do the same yarn because it's like so cute. But let's see how I do the second time I make it. Okay guys, I just made the second version of this sweet little alligator, and I did something a little bit different. When I came to the rows where the legs were, I just did 16 crochet around, and then I came back and I surface crocheted the legs. So I'll show you the difference. This one, I went ahead and crocheted them while I was making the alligator, and these I surface crocheted. So I actually think they look very similar, and it saved me 9 minutes. So the first time I made this, took me 50 minutes, and the second time I made it, it took me 41 minutes. So those little changes can sometimes save you some time. If you were making a whole bunch of these, that could actually add up to quite a bit. So here's our first pattern, and I think he's super cute, and I can't wait to make more of them for my next market. This is the next free pattern that I'm going to make. It's on Instagram, and it's by TJS Crafts and Crochet. It's supposed to be this little baby crocodile. I had such a great time making this sweet little baby crocodile. I used mystical yarn and a 4.5 millimeter hook, and I want to say it only took me 20 minutes to make this little guy. He kind of looks a little bit like a pollywog. He is no-sew. There's little bobble stitches for his legs. He's super adorable, and what a quick make. It can get a little bit confusing with the, like when you make these little, like you chain right here with these kind of bump out a little bit, and then when you make the eye bumps, you may get a little confused which one is the eye bump and which one is the nostril, because these look like nostrils before you put the eyes in. So just put the eyes in right away so that you know the difference. But yeah, turned out super cute, and I would definitely recommend this for a market make, especially something that only takes you 20 minutes. And let's just take another look at Allie the alligator. And now you can see a better comparison now that we have more sunlight. They are so cute. Okay, last night I worked on another pattern. This pattern is Chompers the Crocodile, and this pattern is by Kay's Crochet Critters. It is an intermediate pattern, and is just super cute. So this is what it looks like in Honey Bunny, Sweet Snuggles Light, Parfait XL, or you can even make it really tiny like worsted weight, and that one is Bernat Blanket. So yeah, this is the one I'm making next. It's one of my favorite patterns. Just finished these 4 feet. They are so cute. This is one of my favorite parts of this pattern, and these feet took me a total of 18 minutes. Larger alligator pattern by Kay's Crochet Critters, and this pattern does not disappoint. It is super, super easy to follow. I showed you like a few clips of me making the feet. For how large he is, it actually didn't take me that long. It took me 1 hour and 29 minutes to make this guy, and he's pretty big. Some of the creative parts about this pattern are the feet. So if you look at the toes, they are really pronounced. So you make the 3 toes, and then you crochet in all the spaces except for the toes, and it makes the toes pop out in this really creative way. And then when you're crocheting the face, you start with a chain and kind of work your way around. You make these nostrils, and then you make these eye bumps, which I think is really clever. So you make the eye bumps, and they're basically holes. You chain and skip some stitches so that you have holes. Then you go back and you crochet around those holes, like surface crochet, and then you whip stitch them closed. And what it creates is this really amazing eye bump. I used Sinker Eyes in 25 millimeter, and I think he just turned out amazing. This yarn is by Dreamland. It's called Dreamland. I believe it's a Bernat yarn, and it is called Cabbage Patch. I kept the little, oh, excuse me, it is not Bernat. It's Cover Story, and it's this is Lion Brand. Okay, so it's called Dreamland, and the color is Cabbage Patch, and it makes the most amazing reptiles. Like, look at the colorway. It almost looks like he has stripes. The feet are crocheted in the round, which is amazing. You just have to make sure that the toes are facing the right direction. And I love how he comes in right here and then bumps back out and then goes back in again. And then you have his tail. You surface crochet from the tail all the way up to the back of the head, and these are just slip stitch and double crochet increases. But he is so adorable. I would definitely recommend this pattern. It's a fun, easy pattern to make. You know, you don't feel like stressed at the end. You feel like you just want to make another one. So I would definitely recommend this pattern. Let's put all three of the alligators together. The top two are free patterns and the bottom one is a paid pattern. Where's my little baby? Now we have our three. We have our baby, we have our market make alligator, and then we have chomps at the very bottom. So cute. Okay, next I made another reptile. I decided to try out a snake pattern. And this snake pattern is by TJ's Crafts and Crochet. This is a free pattern on Instagram. And I've never made this snake before. I've made another snake, which I'll show you a little bit later. But I decided to use 20mm birthday party eyes for him just to kind of go with this really cool colorway that I chose. This is chenille home slim. And I think the colorway is perfect for a snake. When I first started making snakes, I used to stuff them because I thought like you stuffed them. And they turned out so funny. And it's like I just realized you only stuff the head because you want the back of the snake to be able to like wrap around your arm. And kids go crazy over these snakes. Like you could have a whole basket of these and they would be super popular. This is a very, very easy pattern. This is a great pattern for watching a movie because once you do the head, it's like 66 rows of single crochets. And I just think he turned out so cute. I think the pattern may have a tongue, but I didn't add that. But you could always go back and add that. This pattern took me about 25 minutes to finish. Not too bad. It's kind of just like a mindless pattern to make, but so cute. And what a fun thing to choose different patterns. I maybe want to make one out of the Cabbage Patch yarn. I think that's what I might do next. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy this pattern and it is free. I just finished making a pattern that you are going to love, especially if you are a person who goes to markets. I just made my favorite reptile pattern that I have made so far, and it is this adorable gecko. And I'm going to tell you why I like him so much. First of all, he's called Twinkle Toes, the tiny gecko, which is just adorable. In the picture, his little arms are like hanging on to something like that. He only took me 28 minutes to make, and that's the second time. The first time I made him, it took me a little bit longer because I was trying to figure it out. The pattern tells you to put a stitch marker right up here at the top of his head so that you know where to place the legs and make sure that your tension isn't different and that maybe you need to adjust things a little bit. So I thought, I don't need to do that. Well, the legs were a little bit off, so I don't even know which. I think I made this one first, and I didn't put the stitch marker at the top, but he turned out okay. But then the second time I thought, I think maybe his head might be off a little bit. And so the second time I made him, I went ahead and followed the directions and put the stitch marker at the top. And I am so happy with the way he turned out. Look at his tail. You crochet this long tail and then you kind of curl it around. Don't make the same mistake I did, which is trying to stuff the tail. Once you get to about here, stop stuffing the tail because you curl it around a little bit. And I absolutely love this yarn as a gecko. I want to say this is called grass or something similar. I'll put the color on the screen if I can find it. But how cute is this guy? He is also super easy to make. Very simple pattern, no sew, and just perfect. And I have so many boys that come into my tent, and girls too, who like reptiles. And they're always looking for something that's like boy happy or boy related, or, something that's like a character like this that's not a cute little octopus, or, something that's girly. And I really feel like this gecko is going to be it. This, I should have already said this, but this pattern is by Kawaii Cuttlebug. And I did purchase it on Etsy, but oh my gosh, I think it cost me like $2 for this pattern. I have a couple other lizard patterns that I'm going to try out, but right now, this one is my favorite. This one is definitely going to be a market make for me. This is the next pattern that I'm going to make, and this is a chameleon. I've never made a chameleon before, but he looks absolutely adorable. This pattern is by Crocheting is Easy. So this is a paid pattern on Etsy, and we'll check it out and see how it goes. This is this Bernat yarn. It is called Tide Pool. I'm gonna use a 7mm hook, and I forgot to tell you that the last pattern that I showed you, the gecko, that was also a 7mm hook. But I think this is gonna look really pretty as a gecko, and then I have to choose some kind of bright color for the frills. Finished the 4 feet, and it only took me 9 minutes. Look at these 2 toes. They are so funny. This was such an easy leg to make. Like, I've made other legs. This one was pretty easy. I think this is great for beginners. Okay, you guys, prepare yourself. I mean, seriously, prepare yourself, because this chameleon is so cute. I have not stopped showing him to people since I made him, or her. Okay, so this is the chameleon. You guys, I've never made a chameleon before, and I'm in love. I used these really pretty 20mm eyes, and I painted them green and orange to kind of match the aesthetic I have going on here. And okay, so this chameleon it's a very easy pattern. It has like a lot of individual sections. Okay, so you make the legs, and I showed you those legs. And then you start with the nose and you make the body, like you make the head, but not this little frill. And then you go down, and then you go all the way back. And then once you get to this part right here, like right here where you curl the tail, you stop stuffing the tail. And it actually has a really creative way that I've never seen before, way of curling the tail. And that's one of the things I love about trying out these new patterns, is I'm learning new techniques. And so you start feeding the needle through the top of the tail and just start pulling, and then it just naturally curls like this, which I think looks so authentic. Okay, so one thing that confused me about this pattern is the legs. So I made the legs, that was fine, they weren't hard at all. But when you go to attach them in the round, it says like to crochet like 17 to 19. You're just doing single crochets all the way around. And then right underneath that, it says attach the safety legs in round 16 to 17. It doesn't say to crochet them or tie them or anything. It just says attach them. So I wasn't sure about that, and I also don't know why they're called safety legs. If you guys have ever heard of that phrase before, let me know. So on the first legs, I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna crochet them in the round. So first of all, I had already gone to 19. So then I'm one of those people who doesn't read ahead, unfortunately, and I should have. So I had to frog 3 rows. And then I went back to that row again and crocheted them in the round. Once I got to the back legs, I thought, okay, what are safety legs? Maybe it means tie them. So after I crocheted this row, I went ahead and took the 2 strings that are left over, wove them inside, and tied them. Well, that didn't work. They literally pulled out. So then I sewed them on. So if I were to do this again, I would probably just crochet them in the round. They're supposed to be 6 stitches apart. It doesn't tell you where to put them. It just tells you between rows 16 and 17, and there should be 6 stitches in the middle, and they should face forward. So it's like they're grabbing onto a tree branch or a log or something like that. This frill right here is surface crocheted in the back loop only. So that was pretty easy, but it just says crochet on the back loop only. It doesn't tell you to go like sideways, but I, just kind of figured it out. I can see for a beginner or somebody who's fairly new to crochet, that would be pretty confusing, but I really like the design. It was like half double crochet, 2 half double crochets, 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and so on. And then the cheeks, which are these little pink things on the side, or peach things on the side, those just say like crochet them below. Overall, I thought it was a really cute pattern. I would definitely make it again. Like, this has been one of my favorite patterns that I've made so far, besides the gecko. I have 2 more chameleon patterns I'm going to make because I'm loving making chameleons. I have 2 that I'm going to make after this, and I think you're really going to like them. They're a little bit different, so stay tuned, but look how cute he is. He took me about an hour and a half, and I think it was just because I was surface crocheting this, surface crocheting this, surface crocheting this, re-sewing on the legs. But I think if I were to make this again, I would probably go a lot faster. But look how perfect this yarn is on this chameleon. Like, it's just perfect. I just love it. I love all these colors that Bernat has come out with, and I'm just loving them. And I'm kind of sad because I think I only have 1 skein of this. But anyway, on to the next pattern. The next pattern that I'm gonna make is called Camilla the Chameleon. It's by Crochet with Kyra. Seems really, really cute. I like how he's kind of leaning down. I made 8 individual of what I think are toes. These are pretty easy. They're just 6 single crochets and then 2 rounds. So here we go. We're making the legs. Put all of these feet together. It was kind of a pain in the butt, but I like the effect that it's gonna give. Okay, I'm ready to talk to you guys about the chameleon pattern that I finished last night. And here he is. And your first thought may have been, wow, that yarn looks really good with that pattern. And I have to agree with you. I think if you're gonna make a reptile like this is the perfect type of yarn. You can tell that his tail is curled. If I turn it this way, you can kind of see. His tail is actually about this long, and then I like curled it around. He is just such a magnificent pattern. I love the feet and the way they hang down. If you look at them this direction, you can see that this one should be up a little bit. Should be like maybe 2 stitches up here. So I have to think about if I want to take it off and reattach it. I think I probably will. It shouldn't be too hard. I found it a little bit hard to see where the leg should go. But I think overall, I think they look really, really cute. This pattern was very easy. You basically do the legs and then you start here, you crochet them in the round, which was very simple. And then when you get to the back, the tail is quite long, lots of half double crochets here to make this thick tail. And then it gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and then you kind of stop stuffing right about here, and then you curl it around. And then this little ridge is just like 3, I think it was double crochets, and then you do a slip stitch and then 5 single crochets to kind of give you that wavy pattern. This guy took me a little over 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours and 16 minutes, but I think he was worth all of the time that I invested. Look at his eyes. I used my dragonfly glaze paint on his eyes, and I think they turned out super cool. I used a 7mm hook. This is Bernat yarn, and then his eyes are 25mm. I am just in love with him. Let me compare him to the other chameleon that I made so that you guys can get sort of an idea of how big he is. And this guy has like this little helmet frill and a ridge down the back, and this one has no helmet frill and he has a ridge down the back. So I don't know if they are different breeds of chameleon. Their feet are similar, but his of course are bigger. So I think if you're gonna make a market make, this is probably the better market make version. But I think having a couple of these on your table would be great for effect. I'm thinking I would have to charge like $45 or more for him because he took me such a long time and he's pretty awesome. But yeah, I really like him. I made them in the same yarn on purpose so that they would, you know, look like 2 chameleons sitting there. He has the orange and green eyes and he has the dragonfly eyes. But overall, I really like both of these patterns. I thought they were well written and I'm definitely gonna make them again. Our next pattern is a snake pattern, and it is by Crochet Grove. I made this snake a couple of weeks ago for a market, or a few weeks ago probably, but this is a super clever pattern by Crochet Grove, and it is a beautiful snake. I don't remember the yarn that I used, but I remember I bought it at Joann's, and I bought it in 2 different colorways, in this purple and this green, and then I made it into a stripe. As you can see, she has a really clever way of making the snake coil, which is something new I haven't seen before. It does take a little bit more effort to make the rounds. You can't just sit and watch a movie and just keep going round and round. You have to actually think about what you're doing. But I think the effect is really awesome, and kids and even adults just love the way it wraps around their arm. For this guy, I used an 8mm hook because this is super bulky yarn, and then I painted his eyes. This is Unicorn Magic. I sell those in my Etsy shop. I don't know if you guys can see the blue and the purple, but he's so cute and so cuddly, and I've only made 2 of them, and I sold 1 at my last market, and this is the one that I have left. But you can see he naturally coils up. I'm not doing that. It's just he coils. So if you have in your mind to make a snake pattern, I would highly recommend you trying out her pattern. I'm part of her Patreon. So I got this pattern as part of that group, but you can also buy this on Etsy. So go out and find it. I don't even remember how long this snake took me. I want to say it took me like about an hour and a half, maybe an hour. I mean, the rounds don't take too long, but it definitely took me a little while. You could add a tongue in the front if you want to make him have a little more character. So yeah, super cute snake. Our next pattern that is a reptile pattern is this absolutely precious lizard pattern, and it is by the Fox Den Mom Life. And this is a perfect market make. On her Etsy, like her photo that she took for her Etsy listing, she made her lizard into a rainbow lizard, and I could not pass up the opportunity to try this myself. So I grabbed all my Premier Parfait chunky yarns that I love so much, and I did the same color combination that she did. I love the little feet. They look like hearts when you turn them around this direction, but they are pretty basic. You make 2 pieces and then crochet them together, and then you just sew them on. So overall, I think this was a really easy pattern. It only took me about an hour. And I decided to use extra large 25mm eyes on this guy just to give him a little more character. But this was super easy pattern and I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it for a market. He does have a little ball right here that you sew on that's kind of like separate from the frill, and then you just surface crochet the frill going all the way down. But this little ball right here is sewn on. So yeah, super cute lizard, and let's compare him to my big chameleon lizard so that you can see how small he is in comparison. And you can see he's pretty small compared to this guy. Not as small as my gecko. Let me get my gecko lizard. So you can see my gecko lizard, he's a little bit bigger than that. So the gecko lizard probably wins the award for best market make because it's so easy. And also this is like a fun lizard, almost like a clownish looking lizard. And this one is more of like a realistic looking lizard. I can't do a reptile roundup video without including at least a couple of turtle patterns. I did a turtle roundup or pattern roundup review, turtle roundup pattern review earlier in the month. And so if you haven't seen that, go look at it. It was how many different turtle patterns can I make in 20 hours. But I'm gonna talk really quickly about 2 of my favorite turtle patterns and then one that's a new turtle pattern that I just tried out. So this is Crochet by Jenna's Turtle. And I love the dimensions of her turtle. This is just a random eye that I painted. I just think they're so sweet. I like the size of the head. The back fin is a little bit smaller than the front fin. And then in her pattern, you have to sew the fins. After you do the little spaces, you have to go back and sew the fins before you make the bottom of the body. So that takes a little bit more time. But I think overall her turtle patterns are really, really cute. She has one with a bow. She has one with a heart. She has like the mini version all the way up to a like huge table-sized turtle. So if you're looking for something unique and creative, go check her out. I love her turtle pattern. And then the other turtle pattern that is my #1 go-to pattern is CJ Designs Fred the Sea Turtle. So this is the sea turtle. The reason why I love this pattern, and this is the one I usually go to, is because the fins are all the same size, so it makes it easier for me to batch make them, and it's no sew, which is brilliant. I can actually take this turtle pattern and I actually make Jenna's no sew as well by just following the same idea of, instead of making those spaces, I just crochet the fins in the round. I decided to make this one a lemon turtle, and that's what's so amazing about turtle patterns is you can really make them whatever you want with just some different colored yarn and maybe some creativity. But I really like this turtle pattern a lot. This one has lemon slices in the eyes. I sell those fruit sliced eyes in my Etsy shop. They're called Juicy Fruit Eyes. But isn't he so cute? I like the way his fins kind of fall down on the sides. And I always sell out of this size turtle when I take it to markets. And the last turtle pattern that I have for you is this adorable, I had to include a tiny one. This is called a popping turtle. Oh my gosh, when I saw this, I had to make it. And hold on. The poppet turtle is made by Nat's Crochet Creation. I purchased it on Etsy and I just think he's adorable. So it's the only turtle pattern I've ever made where the turtle head is like in, which is what turtles do. And then it just kind of pops in and out. This was such an easy pattern. I finished this turtle in 14 minutes and it was my first time making it, which means I could probably make it in more like 10 or 12 minutes. You start here with the turtle and with your magic circle, and then you start to crochet around. You do your 4 bobble stitches, and then you do back loop only with green, and then you just start making the head, and then you just add your eyes and you're done. You have to make sure that you only stuff up to row 6 so that he will pop in, otherwise he'll just be a really funny looking turtle. But yeah, he's really cute. This is the ultimate market make turtle right here. I would probably charge maybe $8 or $10 for this guy, maybe 8. He's so easy. And then these would definitely probably sell out. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that out of all of those 12 patterns, you were able to find one pattern that inspired you or made you want to go out and create something beautiful and cute. And don't forget, I have other videos that are similar to this. Let me see if I can remember them. I have a bunny video, a turtle video, a penguin video, and a giraffe video. So go check those out. I'll link a couple of them in the end. If you have not liked and subscribed, think about following my channel. It really does help me out. And I'm just so excited to start planning out my next pattern review video. If you have any animals or something similar that you would like to see in a video like this, leave it in the comments below so that I can consider your great ideas. Thank you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye.